Welcome back to Chow Time Pod. It's your host, Ray. I got a video today from Peace World. Please subscribe down below. I'm almost at 100K. If you guys can help me get to 100K by the end of the year. So let's get to that chow. It's chow time.
I bet not see not one black woman a part of any feminist movement in this country, because this election just showed you that all the movement is about is protecting the privilege of white women and keeping you from any. Okay, so I want to circle back to address this comment that was left under one of my videos where I was discussing black women's involvement in the feminist movement. This beautiful sister here left this comment stating that if it wasn't for feminism and the feminist movement, black women still would not be able to own our own homes, credit cards, or even
What are you talking about? Everybody was able to earn those things before feminism.
Vote. Ma'am, this is so factually incorrect. Number one, on a high level, I don't know how we thought that seeking partnership or allyship from a group of people who were actively benefiting from our oppression was of our best interest, okay? In 1924, when women gained the access or the right to vote, black women and black men still faced a poll tax, a literacy test, and intimidation from said other groups, okay? We didn't get the right to vote until 1965. So actually, it would have been of black women's best interest to partner with black men in the civil rights movement to continue to fight for our rights. None of these movements are for black women. The 4B movement, the feminist movement.
I can agree with a good chunk of what she's saying, actually. Okay.
Even the conversation about the woman or the man versus the bear, those are not for black women. And we should give them back to the white women and to the women of color from whence they came, okay? That is the women of color and the white woman playbook to keep us bamboozled.
Wait. Okay, now I'm confused. Women of color and white women. Are you not a woman of color? Or are you talking about every other woman except for black women? Now you're alienating yourself amongst all other women? Is that what's going on?
And tricked. Because they start the marches, we lead the marches, and at the end of the day, when they go home to their men, our men, we go home to emptiness. This is their...
Did you not choose to not deal with your own men? That's why you go home to emptiness? Okay, now I'm like genuinely confused.
Whole agenda is to separate us from our men. And we need to wake up. I'm woke. I ain't getting tricked no more. I'm peep gang. We have no allyship with those women.
Feminism put a lot of things in place that black women benefit from today.
Yep.
Right? They laid the foundation. So for example, without feminism, would women be able to own credit cards? Probably not, right? But in order to get to the point where they could own credit cards, they had to be viewed as equals first.
No, see, women were just not able to incur debt back in the day, especially if they were married. You were able to incur debt if you weren't married because, again, debt just defaulted always to the husband.
And the civil rights movement did that, not feminism. Feminism existed during slavery, and black women were still slaves.
True.
Feminism existed during segregation. Like this woman said, feminism was around where black folks had to take literacy tests because they still thought they were mentally inferior, even with feminism around. So the idea that without feminism, black women wouldn't be able to own credit cards, false. Without the civil rights movement, white women would still own credit cards because they were on course to be equal. Black women wouldn't, because in reality, feminism directly has done nothing for black women. Every right, everything feminists fought for was for white women. But then black women happen to be equal because of the civil rights movement. So then,
they definitely are the most beneficial of this movement is white women in America.
Women get the fruits of those labors. I'm going to use this video as a segue to speak about something that I saw last week, but I couldn't find any clips that was suitable for YouTube because all these women were naked. Now, if you don't know what's happening, There are a bunch of women in France who are marching against violence against women, and they're doing a naked march. Okay, of course, because
Because
that's
that's
what
how
they
you
gotta
protect
do to get the
yourselves and
attention.
not get things violent, right? It's just get naked, so more riled up.
Now, look, I've said this before, but I believe France are a disgrace. Not really the people. I have nothing against the people. Just
The country
France
for
as an
sure.
institution, as a country, as a conglomerate. The way they act on the global stage is disgusting. But we're going to get into that. Why is that relevant to these women? Well, there is absolutely, unequivocally, no femicide happening in any first world Western country. Let's just put that. It's not happening. There's probably nowhere safer for women than in the West.
Correct.
Let's just get that out of the way. It doesn't matter how you feel. You could feel unsafe, but in reality, you're not that unsafe. Now, does violence against women happen? Of course, I'm not saying it doesn't. But the idea that it's a marchable thing, to me, when you're living in France, knowing what France are doing to other people around the world is very, very interesting. And I'm watching this video and I'm like, this is everything I despise about feminism. In one video, because I've made the claim before that feminists are inherently self-centered. They
True.
only care about what's happening to themselves and women like them wherever they live. They don't care about what's happening to other women around the world. They are marching for violence against women when their country is the direct cause of women dying of starvation in Africa. Directly. France take 500 billion in African dollars every single year.
Is it true most of France's financial wealth right now is still built on
$500 billion a year
from Africa?
from Africa. 500. That's a lot
And
of
is
money.
it true that the deals are such that an African nation that has this deal with France cannot do business around the world with their natural resources without the first right of refusal with
First
France?
right of refusal is in
And they can
France's
still
hand.
tell them no.
They can still tell them no.
So if they've dug gold, coffee, cocoa,
Yeah.
whatever,
Yeah.
they go to France like, hey, you guys want this? And they say, nah. And they say, okay, we're going to sell it over here. France can still say, nah, you can't do that.
So insane.
Resulting to the
fucked
starvation of millions of women. Their economy cannot survive without the African money they steal yearly. So without the death of African people, their economy will fail. But they will never, as feminists, they will never march for that.
There is no France without Africa. The day Africa liberates itself from France, France will collapse as a country because France, it is based on everything African. They don't have anything to offer to themselves. They keep on taking from Africa.
They will never speak about it. You will never hear them talk about the African women dying of starvation in these African countries, the poor quality of living in these African countries, the things that these women are going through because of poverty in the...
He is hitting on a good point, right? This is very similar to like the passport bros, just how women shit on women on other countries and saying they're uneducated and all of these things. But I thought you were feminists. I thought you cared about women's empowerment and women being taken care of and all these things. And men from our country, United States, the Western countries, are going to countries where they're less privileged and kind of giving them privilege in a sense with money, but it's seen as evil, and these women are just taking advantage of us, right? Again, they don't care about women in other places. They only care about them and themselves and the benefits of them. They don't care. This whole fake narrative of sisterhood and all this shit, it's only a facade.
These African countries, no. They will go on their naked march because of a so-called femicide that we know isn't happening, though.
Nope.
They will do that. And I've said it. This is the history of feminism. During the Industrial Revolution, when the West were going to India, unaliving a bunch of Indians, stealing their resources, did the feminists protest that? Of course not. They said, we want to be more like the men doing it. Because that's what it's always been about. For people who claim to be about equality, for people who claim to care about the suffering of others, These women are a disgrace.
You know, the biggest quote I remember is feminism is the right for women to be as horrible as the top echelon of horrible men. That is what feminism is pushing, is that women can do just as horrible as those horrible men up there to anybody, even the men that have never had the power to do any horrible things themselves.
And you're not protesting against nothing the French are doing, but you're protesting violence against women in France? So I tried to find an article on the femicide in France, and this is the only one I can find. It's from 2014 to 2018. Now, some people may say, oh, this is old, but like, is it gonna jump like 100,000% for it to actually be a femicide?
No.
It isn't. So look what they're marching for. Female victims of homicide. Now look, again, I'm not downplaying these lives, okay? We'd hope for no homicides. But
True.
this is the femicide that they're marching for. 300 women a year, right? That's what they're marching for. Okay. How many women in France? So you have 35 million women in France and 300 die a year
Not even
from
a percent.
homicide. That's the femicide they're marching for. But they won't march for the people in Africa that their country is directly starving, unaliving. No? Okay.
I ain't gonna lie, there's two different niggas in the hood. I'm not one and I'm two, I'm three, bro. You feel me? This is some nigga.
This guy brags because he has set up a link hotel room for an actual man, but invited him to come enjoy beforehand? What?
This is somebody nigga shit. Before the nigga here, I'm chilling here. Oh God, bro. Bro. I'm really him, bro. I'm really him.
Stop, you really messing up the words on the bed.
I'll be chilling with your girlfriend before you come to your birthday. That shit is different. No. Okay. That shit different. That shit different.
What?
Disgrace.
You know, when you're dusty and you're bummy and you ain't really got much going on for yourself, you celebrate things like this. You know, I took another man's girl. Good job, buddy. It's a big W for you. You're definitely not him, though. You look like you haven't showered. Like, you're definitely not him. You're just with a Jezebel. And we know you're not him because you seem so surprised. Look how happy you are. Like, this is the best thing that's happened to you in a long time. You ain't got much going on if this is what you're celebrating. A man's sloppy seconds? Really? Very interesting.
Black men in Germany are treated way differently than Black women in Germany. Black men are appreciated in Germany. Black men are put in a cultural sense, in a societal sense, you are seen as interesting, whereas Black women are seen as lesser.
An experience,
a novelty in which you can approach voyeuristically, and it's dehumanizing. I was a member at Soho House, and I remember seeing a Black man sitting there, and there was all these white women around him glorifying him, gawking at the fact that he was existing. And I think Black men need to acknowledge that their lived experience in Germany is disproportional to that of a Black woman in Germany.
Why do you care so much? Like, why does it matter? Don't go to Germany. That fixes your own issue. So he gets more attention in Germany. Big shits. Why does he have to acknowledge this? And why does it matter to him? He's getting his.
The thing, right? Black men and Black women have very similar stereotypes.
True.
Not the same, but very similar. Masculine, aggressive, loud,
true,
violent,
okay,
whatever the case is. But in dating, that works for Black men. Women like that. And then you add the BBC and the fetishizing. Women like that.
True.
But it works against Black women because men don't like those things.
Yeah.
So when it comes to desirability outside of the Black community, you know, we've seen it when the numbers came out with all the dating apps, and it is reflected in the real world. Black men have an easier time dating outside their race compared to Black women. In my opinion, this isn't something that Black men need to recognize or understand their privilege or whatever the case is. if
Why
you
do
want
they
to
need to
change
recognize
the
it?
stigma around black women, change the stigma around black women.
Mm-hmm.
Like, who are the faces of black women? Like, literally, I saw a presidential debate with Megan Thee Stallion twerking up the place. Like, if you want people to see black women differently, we have to change who we pick to represent us. It's the only way it's gonna change, because these people from around the world, they don't know any black people. All they see is what they see on the TV and on the internet. And if when they see prominent black women, they're shaking their ass, they're doing all kind of ratchet shit, what do you expect? They're probably gonna think it easy. They're probably gonna think that you're not girlfriend or wifey material. Your perception has nothing to do with us.
Yep.
That's something that you guys need to figure out.
I posted a video about guys not knowing what they want in their 30s, and let me tell you, the comments have me like shook. The amount of men saying that they don't want to get married because they don't want to have to take care of a woman is like absolutely mind-blowing to me. Like, love is dead. It's dead. Done.
I posted a video about men not knowing what they want in their 30s. The men told me what they don't want to do is get married and take care of a woman.
So they know what they want.
But they don't know what they want. They're telling you what they want. They are telling you what they want. You just don't like it. You just don't want to hear
Exactly.
it. And I don't know when we're going to come to the realization that we are equals. We're not taking care of you. At this point, currently, we're not taking care of you. It's just not happening. If you're looking for a man to take care of you, most likely you're going to be single, because women are just as smart as men, more educated than men, make almost as much money as men. But yet you want us to take all the financial
resources?
burden? Because of what? Because of some traditional standard that you don't hold yourself to?
Mm-hmm.
Make it make sense.
It doesn't.
I don't know how y'all be getting along on these girls' trips. I finally went on a girls' trip, and guess what? And never again in life. It just be weird, like real weird. Like what happened to me and a group of other women while on this trip, y'all, it's disgusting. And people really be living fake lives.
Yeah, I was gonna say, is it because they're broke, dusty, musty, crusties, and try to use your money and your resources in every way possible, like they do men?
And double lives with multiple different personalities.
Yep.
It's crazy. So if you're a young girl, don't do girls trips. Do trips with like one person or your family if you are close with your family. Like, these girls trips, don't do it. Now I know why I've avoided going on one for so long, but I trusted this person and their judgment. Never again. Betrayal to the utmost. Like, you really just never know people and their intentions. It's crazy and weird out here, y'all.
That's because you girls do not really go into depth with each other and your friendship. Your guys' friendship is very surface level compared to men.
This is the second video I done seen on my timeline the past 2 days about a girls trip going wrong. And y'all, I've been on a couple girls trips, and I feel like
they always go wrong.
technically none of them went right. The last one I went on, it went okay. Like, the other girls was, getting into it, but yeah, it always go to hell. But rule number 1, never put your card down when that restaurant bill come out.
I told you guys, it's broke, dusty, musty, crusties.
Whether you out of town, whether you in your regular city, never put your card down, because especially when you don't know everybody at the table well, because somebody definitely gonna either not pay at all or they gonna try to short you like they did with her. And if you're gonna pay, have everybody cash app you the money first before your card even hit the damn table. The amount of women that are okay with leaving and going out of town with no money is crazy.
Yep.
Do they be thinking like some man finna just pay their way?
They do. They actually think that some man's gonna pay their way. It's gonna, every time they go to the club or the bar or whatever to have drinks, men are just gonna pay for it. Every time they're hungry, they're hoping men are gonna pay for it. This is the mentality of modern women. They're just there to use men because they're broke. Dusty, musty, crusties.
The whole vacation or something like. And are credit cards a thing of the past? Because these people never have a backup, nothing.
Because they have shit credit. Their credit cards are already maxed out and they probably can't get more credit and they're still broke.
When they be going on these trips and having other people pay their way. Unless they do have one, but they just not using it and taking advantage of the person with the money. But vacations only. The closest I'm gonna get to another girl's trip is a couple's trip. So, you know, your man gonna take care of you if something go wrong, or not me.
I've been seeing more and more videos recently of women going on girls' trips and their friendships ending. And it's almost always about money.
It always is.
And I find it interesting because I think as men, because we're used to paying our own way, like nobody pays for men's stuff, right?
Nope.
We have to pay for our own stuff, right?
They bring money.
So when we go on these trips, we know we gotta pay our way. But I think for some women, because they're used to a man paying for things for them, when they go on a girls' trip, it's all girls, they can't get out of that headspace that nobody's paying for you, you're taking care of yourself, pull your own weight. And I think there are certain women who would treat their friends as if they're their boyfriends.
Yep.
Expecting them.
I actually just had a story time. I had a conversation with a young girl, 19. She has a friend that they've been friends for 5 years. She just recently realized that that's what her friend does. She uses her for almost everything and kind of treats her like trash. But when something comes up, when it's money-wise, she always comes to her to help pay for things and things like that. And no, yeah, women use each other just as much as they use men as ATMs.
To pay for stuff. And their friends are looking at them like, you didn't come with any money? Like, how did you come here with no money? That don't make no sense. Like, we've all been with women, right? And you guys are going out and she's like, should I bring my wallet? No, it's fine. Yeah, don't bring your wallet, it's cool. After a while, they stop asking and they just don't bring their wallet anymore.
True,
right?
true.
So
Peace, 100%.
You got women going on vacation with no wallet.
My favorite men are the men that just work. Like, if you're a man, you need to be at work. Where are all the good men? They're at work.
True.
Doing their job, focusing on their job, excelling in their field.
True.
Those are the best men.
True.
Because a man who is not happy with his career or where he's at in life are the most evil men you will ever meet. They're the most insecure, evil men. They will
that turned really quickly.
Ruin your fucking life. And they're just not fun to be around. Guys, working, career, happy, of course, probably wants to excel more.
So you've been just dealing with Pookies and Ray Rays this whole time, and now you're tired of Pookies and Ray Rays, and you want good men that have good, stable jobs to help pay for stuff? Is that what's going on now?
We all do, but like, that man is your man. The man that's not happy with where he's at in his career, bye. Bye.
You know, most people are not happy where they're at in their career. It's very few are happy with the money they're making and the amount of work they're doing and the time they're spending away from their family and everything else.
I love you, bye. See you later. Can't chat.
It's almost like anything but like morals, character, and values, right? Anything but those things dictate a good man, right? Oh, where are all the good men? They're working because all the good men are happy in their careers. Nothing about morals, character, values, integrity. Nope. Money. That's it. Just because a man is happy with his career doesn't mean that he's a good man. That doesn't make sense.
True.
And it's always the men talking about you belong to the streets. Bro, you are the streets. You are the dirty, nasty, rat infested. You're a rat carrying a pizza on a subway in New York, nigga. You are the streets. But because you're not enough for her, and then she ends up with a beautiful man inside and out, and she moved on. We can't stigmatize women moving on. Y'all want us to settle for less so bad. But when a woman doesn't settle for less and she knows when to dip and dive, you're like, she's a slut. Because you're not good enough for her? Now she belongs to the streets? It's not the first. Remember when Ray J was like, I hit it first? Like, It ain't cute to be the first. That's not the cute one. It's the last. Who's good enough to be the last? The first is easy. I'm experimenting, bro. Of course you were the first. I don't know what I'm doing. You don't know. It's fine. But if I'm an experienced woman who has done my sexual due diligence, who has dated and kissed all the frogs, and then you are the prince and you get to be the last one, you're the one who lets me see that I don't want any of that, you're it.
The propaganda is crazy. The propaganda is crazy. You won't get me though. You won't get me. Look, being the first might not matter, but being the 50th
really
does.
does.
You're for the streets. But wait, hold up. I was watching this video and I'm like, wait, Superhead? Is that you?
Superhead is a moniker that I gave myself in a personal relationship of mine that I had with an artist, and it was a joke between us based on our love life, and it was all of those things. But unfortunately, it got out, and once it got out, it got misunderstood. You know, I'm not saying it's not true.
Superhead was a word between you two, or
just between us. It's something that I came up with between us. It was funny to us. It was meaningful to us.
Oh, it's funny to us too.
And but then I find that sometimes men talk more than women do, and then so it ended up being a thing of its own. And so what I did was, knowing that it was going to be, I knew that it would get out of control. I knew that with everything that I was doing, that it was going to come up. And so instead of allowing someone else to bring it up and try to bring me down with it, I decided to turn it around, be honest about it, talk about it, discuss it, and move on.
There are a lot of women who can downplay the streets, deny the streets, you know, claim that they weren't for the streets, but not you, Superhead. Okay? Not you. You were like one of the pioneered 3 or 4s on the internet.
Yeah.
You built this.
I don't know many celebrities, especially women celebrities, but I do remember the name Superhead quite well.
What OG? So when people say you're for the streets, you just gotta hold it, man. You just gotta hold it.
You know, it's really easy to see why women are single when we watch clips like this and just, you know, how horrible advices they give each other, and they eat it up. And the good advices, they seem to just disregard every single time, even from good women. Crazy. Please like, comment, subscribe down below. I really appreciate that. I'll catch you next time. Ciao.